Week 10 of the Smart Gamble here on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Thank you for joining. I'm Norm, joined, of course, by Lily and CJ, as we are every week, and a very esteemed guest joining us this week as well. Lily, why don't you introduce us?
This is my dad.
All right, easy, Lily. Easy.
Tom. You can call him Tom.
Tom, thank you for joining us. We've heard only the most wonderful things, and we can't wait to have you be a part of this show. And I mean, I have to ask you before we even jump into a weird Thursday night game that we'll start before we get into our picks and whatnot. What do you think of Lily doing this podcast?
Well, I want to give you some background. Lily started several years ago. My son and I had our own football pool, and Lily kept listening, and she wanted to join. Well, my son and I figured that she really didn't know what she was doing, and we didn't want the time to bother with her. So what we did is we prepared about 10 questions that she had to answer in order to get in our pool. She passed every one of them, and she's been going since then.
She's killing it.
I think that's a great segue to Lily is wearing a sweatshirt today and has been 4 for 4 in every single pick we've made so far.
Well, I want to tell you about that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, her lock of the week last week, picking Denver over Dallas, that was the best underdog game I have seen all season. For Denver to do what they did to Dallas was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I'm sure Dallas Cowboys couldn't believe it either.
No.
But Lily knew.
Yep.
She knew.
It's and you know, that's what everyone that's listening and tuning in right now, I'm sure, like, you know, I'm sure my fantasy advice and CJ's got some great advice and stuff like that. We're all really here for Lily's lock of the week, because not only are you going to get a winner that's going to cover the spread, it's 4 dogs that have all won outright.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yep. So what do we say to those so-called experts?
Suck it.
Well, I'll tell you, if people are not watching this podcast and listening to your picks and suggestions every week, they're damn fools and they're losing a lot of money.
Yeah, you're basically patting away free money if you're
Absolutely,
not
no.
right now.
Absolutely.
So what did we think of Thursday night's games? Thursday night's game. Is there trouble brewing in Baltimore, or is that just a weird, you know, on the road on a short week kind of thing?
What do you think, CJ?
I think it's probably one of those one-offs. I think Baltimore's still a very, very good team. And it's funny, I was chatting with Lily earlier in the day, and I actually had Miami, and I kind of wimped out and went the other direction because Baltimore
I think
was a better team.
Did.
But something felt really strange about that game, and I couldn't put my finger on it, and I just simply went back to the norm, saying, okay, Baltimore's a better team, so they should win. But I should have stayed with my gut, and Miami took it to them. So, but I think it's one of those one-off things where Baltimore is going to get back to being Baltimore at some point.
Right. I mean, I don't think I've seen a team lose more running backs than Baltimore has this season. So I think that's part of it too. And Lamar Jackson should not be throwing the ball 43 times in a game if Baltimore's going to be winning. That's not their recipe to success.
That is true.
So yeah, that was a weird one. We'll see what Baltimore does, because I think we're all in it. It's whether Baltimore is good or not. I don't think that we're going to take away from that game. Oh, the Dolphins are good all of a sudden. Like, I don't think that's the case. They've got a quarterback issue and all that. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. We've of course got Lily's pick, 4 for 4 so far. Had Denver last week beating the Cowboys. Can't wait to get into that. We're going to go over some power rankings as we usually do. CJ's got his stay away game. We'll talk some more MVP, maybe coach of the year stuff as well. But I guess, Lily, let's jump into some fantasy talk.
Yeah. So who are a couple of players who have good playoff matchups?
Right. So it's kind of crazy. We're in week 10. And if you're a big fantasy player, if you do the season-long fantasy playoffs are right around the corner already. So it's time to start thinking, if you're in the running at least, of like, all right, can I get some players that have good matchups to win the games that actually really matter? So a couple quarterbacks I'll throw out quick that have good playoff matchups that might be available through trade and not have to give up too much, or might even just be on the wire depending on the size of your league. Great strength of schedule, and this goes for any players, but I'm going to specifically mention the quarterbacks. Big Ben Roethlisberger. Steelers have a great playoff matchup schedule, and they're kind of starting to come into their own a little bit. I know Chase Claypool's banged up right now, but decent enough options on offense for Big Ben. So look out for maybe Big Ben as a trade option. I know he just lost Derrick Henry, and I know I've been kind of seesawing on Ryan Tannehill on the show already, but Tannehill and the Titans have a good matchup in the playoffs. And despite losing to the Broncos on Lily's pick last week, the Cowboys playing in that dreadful NFC East have a very good fantasy playoff matchup. So maybe if Dak Prescott with some injury issues and the Cowboys' woes might be a little bit more available if his owner's down on him, maybe make a trade for him. And two other guys I'll throw out real quick. Raiders also have good playoff matchups. And with the news that their wide receiver core right now, guys that might actually be available on the waiver wire, Hunter Renfrow, Bryan Edwards might be guys worth stashing for the playoff matchups.
Nice. So who are some sneaky starts this week, Norm?
Speaking of those Raiders, I know I said the Kansas City Chiefs were still my Super Bowl pick a few weeks ago when we were doing that. I'm now going to basically say whoever is playing the Kansas City Chiefs, start everyone on that team, because that defense has just proven yet again that they cannot stop people, and that is a team you want to play against. So I'm going to throw out, despite not having Henry Ruggs and some other issues on that team right now, Derek Carr is still putting up numbers. So Derek Carr is a guy I'm looking at starting this week. And I think one guy that might be due, had a lot of hype coming into the season, has shown potential throughout his short career so far already, has had a couple bad weeks recently, but is getting a little healthier. Look for Mike Williams against a depleted Minnesota secondary to have a big game for the Chargers.
Nice. So who are some players to avoid this week?
One guy I think I want to avoid this week, mostly because of matchup, but we talked about him the last 2 weeks, really. Lily, he might have even been your player of the week last week, and that's the running back for the Jets, Michael Carter. I just don't like the matchup against the Bills. I think Michael Carter's a guy that's now like hyped up. Everyone's kind of aware of him finally now, and then they're like, I got to start him. He's been so good the last few weeks. I don't love him against that Bills defense, so I think I might skate away from him this week. And one other guy, just because he's banged up and he loves to play through injury, we've seen that in his career, but sometimes does that as a decoy. I'd avoid, if he plays this week, Julio Jones against the Saints. You see that Saints matchup? That Saints matchup is very enticing. And, it's Julio Jones. A lot of times when Julio's playing injured, and he's dealing with that hamstring injury right now, he can be used as a decoy. So I might avoid Julio Jones this week. So any more fantasy advice you guys want? Throw out some maybe decisions between 2-3 guys you got to decide between for a week. You can always email us at thesmartgamble@gmail.com. We'll be happy to help you with that. And anything else, any feedback here on the show.
All right, let's go through the power rankings.
Right.
Okay, so Arizona is number 1 now, previously number 2. Tampa Bay is number 2, previously number 3. Green Bay is number 4. Oh, sorry, Tennessee is number 3, previously 9.
Tennessee making the jump. I can't blame them. I can't make that. Yeah.
No, I know.
And that's after losing Derrick Henry.
Right.
Yeah, well, that tells you how well that team is coached. That tells you how well that team sticks to the blueprint. They run it. They play smart and tough defense, and they don't deviate from what they believe is the right thing to do. I really think that team is going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
We have to remember that he's a disciple of Mr. Belichick.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's why that team plays the game they play. And it certainly seems that way.
Yeah.
I wish my Giants disciple coach would get this team to play the same way. But Vrabel, I'm right there with you. I love Vrabel as a coach.
He's terrific.
Yeah. Green Bay is number 4, previously number 1.
Okay,
Dallas.
I was wondering who was number 1 when you started to listen to the drop off. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Green Bay dropping. Yeah.
Yep. Dallas is number 5, previously number 2. Baltimore is number 6, previously number 7.
You think they'll probably drop because that was before Thursday, right?
Right.
That's
So they'll
true.
definitely drop next week. Yep. Okay, 7 is the Rams, previously number 6. 8 is Buffalo, previously number 4. I think we can all
Ooh.
understand that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
That was an
Short-
ugly game.
Yes, yes, yes.
Chargers are number 9, previously number 12.
Okay.
And guess who just popped in at number 10? Can you guys guess?
The Jets.
Those mighty
Oh,
Jets.
come on, guys, come
Super Bowl
on,
bound Jets.
come on.
I'm thinking, who is it? It wouldn't be like the Patriots or Browns who are playing this.
Browns.
It is the
Browns.
Oh,
Really?
Okay.
Browns.
Wow.
because
They were
that's a
Wow.
previously
matchup.
number
I
16.
wow.
I think that's a little bit of a reach.
I think so.
I would
think-
agree.
Wow.
I would
Bullshit.
agree.
Well, it's funny because I was gonna mention because you had the Rams there. What, 8? You said
Yeah.
7 or
Rams-
8, something like that.
7.
7 or
Yep.
8. I think they were 8. Now they're 7.
Yep.
And speaking of the Browns and Rams, the Browns have jumped up to 10. The Rams are at 7. What do we think of Odell Beckham signing with the Rams?
Well, I think the Browns lost a wife and the Rams gained a nice looking girlfriend for the short term. I think that it'll probably do them both well in the short term, and then they split at the end of the season. That's my prediction.
Right. Just
I
because
agree.
I've like
I agree.
I lived through that. I'm the first ex-wife, you know, like, and the Rams, that locker room, I like. How can you not, discredit? You can't discredit his talent, but when you look at that Rams locker room, they trade for Von Miller. They've already got Aaron Donald. They've already got Jalen Ramsey, who they brought in. They've got a lot of like combustible personalities, and they're all in like short-term contracts. That's a ticking time bomb waiting to go off to me.
Yeah, but I think the other part of it is that Odell is an alpha dog. He's in the locker room now. We're full of alpha dogs with Aaron Donald. You mentioned there's several other very strong personalities in there. So I'm not sure if Odell has the same effect in a locker room with that many strong personalities. Whereas in the Browns, it was pretty much he was the guy. And I
Right.
think Baker Mayfield pretty much, kowtowed to whatever he wanted to do. Now he's in a locker room where there's a lot of good, strong personalities. So I'm kind of wondering if he does have the same effect as he had with the Browns. And I say no. He probably
Right.
I
fits
think-
right in.
I think he's coming into the Rams in a situation where he's been through a few teams already, and he knows if he doesn't behave himself this time, the door will open and he'll be kicked out on his ass. I'm sorry.
Say that.
Yeah, Lynn said that. Lily said that. The first week that he gets out of hand, they'll drop him like a hot potato.
I hope he's realized that. That's the problem. Is I sometimes don't know if he's realized that.
I
But
know.
I really do hope so. That's a great point, CJ. There's not
Yes.
only that with the
Great
other
point.
strong personalities. You're not coming in, dude, and taking Cooper Kupp's spot. He's the top wide receiver in the league this year.
That is true.
You
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point, CJ. Good point.
So shall we dive into who's my daddy?
Who's your
I didn't know
daddy?
if we were doing that this week.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're definitely doing it.
Well, she doesn't mean me, guys, please.
That's what I was saying.
No,
I
no.
didn't know if we were doing that this week.
No. She knows who her daddy is.
Running back James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals. Listen to these stats, okay? On the road against division rival San Fran, who were desperately seeking their first home win without injured stars Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, Conner rushed for 96 yards, including 2 touchdowns, adding another 77 yards receiving on 5 receptions, including a 45-yard score, compliments of backup quarterback Colt McCoy.
Mhm.
His 3 touchdown performance this week gives him 11 on the season, leading the NFL.
Wow.
It was Connor's first 3 TD game of his career. So, I mean, the 31-17 victory places the 8-1 Cardinals on top of the NFC.
He
Great
never had
job.
those stats. He never had those stats with Pittsburgh.
That's what I was just about to say. Is this
That
is
is true,
kind of?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't even realize he's leading the league in rushing
No,
touchdowns.
either did I. Either did I.
Because Chase Edmonds going down is definitely why he got more touches. But like, Where was that in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it though. That's been a revelation there in Arizona, and if they can get healthy with all those guys performing now, still holding that Super Bowl ticket.
Watch out.
I'm still holding that
Yep.
Super Bowl ticket.
That was one of the problems with Baltimore on Monday night. They had Devontae Freeman, who was just about in his last leg, and the same thing with Devion Bell. I mean, Devion Bell, whatever his first name. is.
Le'Veon.
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 I mean, they've got two guys that are on their last legs, and that's why they didn't move the ball at all Monday night. They left it all up to Lamar, and he can only do so
And
much.
Lamar's arm, not his legs. That was the
Yes.
problem.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yep.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Lily, we did do the daddy of the week. Do you have a shit ass player of the week?
Hell yeah. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah,
And
let
I
me
gotta
turn the
say sorry,
volume
Dad.
down. Let me turn the volume down so your mother doesn't hear this.
Okay,
Go
all I
ahead.
have to say is blow me, Michael Irvin. I'm putting Dak Prescott as the shit ass player of the week. He's
Yeah.
always picking Dak as the MVP. I mean, to not score until the fourth quarter against Denver was nuts.
Yes. I
A
agree.
Denver defense that just traded their best player.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, Dallas looked a little bit confused on offense the other day. I'm not quite sure what it was, but Dak Prescott simply did not help. He didn't do his job. So
No.
I agree.
No, none of them did. Either did Elliott and the other guy,
Mm.
Pollard.
Okay,
True.
so we have another special guest star. This is Hayden.
Ah, you meet the
Oh,
cat.
God.
Hayden.
That fat cat, he's the only, that fat cat weighs about 50 pounds. He sits in front of the glass doors behind Lynn. He sits in front of those glass doors with his paws up so he gets his belly nice and warm. He is unbelievable. If you remember the part in the movie of the Animal House where they shoot the horse and you see the paws up, that's Hayden. That's Hayden. I believe that cat. He's
Okay,
nuts.
so Hayden's pick of the week, his lock of the week
Yeah.
is probably CJ's team, Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. All right.
That is interesting.
That's we're going prime time. Hayden's picking the prime time game.
Yep.
Yes. Wow.
But hey, Hayden and I we're doing the flip flop. Bet against the Chiefs. Go ahead. I like it. And you're
I'll
getting
keep him here as long as he wants to stay.
you're getting points at home in prime time. I can't blame Hayden on that one.
Yep.
Totally
oh,
agree.
there he goes. Say bye-bye. He's yelling at me now.
Hey, he got his prime time appearance though. So
Yes.
Yep, he did. Okay, so let's move into the movie line of the week. You guys
Of
ready?
course.
This is a classic movie, classic line from the movie. Everybody should get this.
is it as classic as last week's? We actually had, plenty of people getting last week's. Even I knew last one. Of course, was The
You'll get
Princess
this one
Bride.
easily. You'll get
Okay.
this one easily. You ready?
Let's do it.
Fat guy in a little coat. Fat guy in a little coat.
I don't
Okay.
care how old you are, how young you are,
Exactly.
what you know what though? I will say this. I think everyone knows that quote. They might not know what it's from though.
Right, right.
But if you do
Very
know,
true.
you can email it for a chance at a prize at thesmartgamble@gmail.com.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
moving on.
Yep, let's get into CJ. Well, before we do CJ stay away game and picks, I teased a little bit before. We've done some MVP talk, and I think we kind of already talked about one of my picks at least. But let's talk about maybe Coach of the Year guys, right, CJ?
Coach of the year. I think there's several really good candidates here. I'll give you three. Believe it or not, Bill Belichick, a team that has a brand new quarterback, a young team in general. He's got those guys playing very well. It's a team game. There's really no stars on that team. So I think Bill Belichick is my third choice for MVP. Number two, I would go with John Harbaugh. I think that they're managing those injuries in Baltimore, the running backs especially. I think he's got a really special relationship with his quarterback.
100%.
I think they're going to do very well the rest of the season and in the playoffs. Number one, I will go with Mike Vrabel,
Yes.
who
I
Lily's dad
agree.
mentioned earlier. That
Yep.
team they stick to their game plan. They run it first. They run it often. He never lets them deviate from the blueprint. I think at 7-2 with the injuries that they've had, especially losing Derrick Henry, I think Vrabel is the guy right now for Coach of the Year. No doubt.
Absolutely. Yep.
So no love for my pretty boy guy, Cliff Kingsbury, huh?
A little bit. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury is doing great with those guys, and Kyler Murray obviously is doing great as well. But I think those three that I mentioned, I think are probably a little bit better at this
No,
point.
I completely agree with you. Vrabel, yeah, the coaching job that Vrabel's done. And I love you throwing out Belichick. Like, no one ever thinks he's almost gotten to like the LeBron MVP status where it's like he doesn't win it because it's like the awards everyone besides him,
Right.
you know? But I think Belichick, he can't deny he's done a great. He's trying to prove like, hey, it wasn't just Brady for 21 years.
Absolutely.
My long pick for the coach of the year would be for Frank Wright with Indianapolis. He has waited. He has coached Wentz very well. He's waited for him to catch up to the rest of the team. The rest of the team is playing very good football right now, and they're going to go far in the playoffs. And I think he might get some votes. But CJ's picks are absolutely right. Right on.
Absolutely.
I love Frank Reich and the Colts and what they've done. How about Carson Wentz this week? His wife's due on Sunday with the baby. He's like, I don't care, honey, I'm playing. I love it. All right, CJ, what's your stay? I say it every week. You can make the you can make the money on the pick of the week, the lock of the week, but you can also lose money on the games that you should avoid. So what game should we avoid this week, CJ?
Okay, this one might surprise you a little bit. Detroit Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Lions are 0-8, yet they are 4-4 against the spread. So they tend to cover the spread pretty much every other week. And out here in Vegas, we're all about numbers. It's about trends. It's about the point spread. It's about these different things. I would stay away from this game. I would not touch it because of that. The Steelers are 5-3, but they're only 3-5 against the spread. So this one sounds a little weird, smells a little weird to me. I would avoid it.
And I just want to add to that the Steelers are 9-10, 9 out of 10 wins against Detroit since 1986.
Wow.
Wow.
Going back a little bit away.
Wow.
I think a lot of teams that in the AFC that don't play the Lions are probably that relevant. Lions don't have a lot of wins since 1986 in general.
That is true.
Now, I have two stay away games. I have Green Bay and Seattle.
Yeah.
I am like so back and forth with that game. And
Go back to the
Tennessee and
Hail
New
Mary.
Orleans. And Tennessee and New Orleans. What do you guys think?
Tennessee,
Yes.
New Orleans, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I the injuries with Tennessee, that kind of makes me want to stay away. But I completely agree on Green Bay, Seattle. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Russell Wilson I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah, and with Tennessee, New Orleans, I mean, obviously it would have been a game I would have maybe stayed away from, even if Jameis Winston was there. But of course, he's now hurt.
Yeah.
So now you have to go do a Taysom Hill. So who knows what he's going to be like after 3 weeks of having a concussion. So I think you're right. I think you're right, Lily. I wouldn't go near that game.
Yeah.
The game I would stay away from is Dallas and Atlanta. I don't think a lot of people realize that Atlanta has won or lost by no more than 6 points in their last 6 games. Matty Ice is playing very, very well. Him and the running back, he's unbelievable.
Cordell
So
Patterson.
they've got, Cordell. They've got some combination going there.
Yeah, Matty Ice seems to be playing well enough to stay within those big spreads. This is 8.5, I believe, this week.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes,
I think he plays well enough. He may not win the game, but I think he can keep it close.
Right,
Yes.
at least the cover. I'm glad you mentioned that Steelers game, CJ, because that was one game I was eyeing in on because I'm like the Lions are terrible and I'm kind of high on the Steelers right now, so I'm liking that stay away pick right there. All right, well, CJ, then what's your pick of the week before we get in? We're just the schlubs here. We're waiting for Lily's pick of the week, but CJ, you've been great too. What do you got?
Yes,
Well,
it is.
I like to go with playoff caliber teams that lost the previous week. And I think the Rams got blindsided last week by Tennessee. I like them to bounce back this week against the Niners on Monday night. So I would go with the Rams to get back to being the Rams this week.
think that's a good pick. More, I don't know if Beckham's going to play this week, but more ammunition on there. That's going to be a hot team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
let's do it. It's time for what everyone's really just been, listening and watching through this for. It is time to get lucky with Lily for Lily's lock of the week.
Getting lucky with Lily. All right.
You
I don't
made
even
the
know
piano,
if
man.
you can't even call it luck at this point.
Okay, so this is going to sound like an oxymoron because it is. So this is, I think, the game of the week and also a stay away game of the week.
Mm,
And it's, I'm picking New England over Cleveland.
okay.
That's my lock of the week.
Woo!
Oh, whoa.
What do you guys think?
That's an interesting pick because New England at home is only 1-4. Cleveland on the road is 2-2, and they're 5-4 against the spread. I don't know. Don't forget they're without Chubb and another running
Yeah.
back. So I think it's
I
going
think
to
New
be a
England's going to
battle.
win by
Mm.
2. I think that's how it's going to end.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because in my pool, the ones that I run, I also took the Patriots as well in a game. So I have a hunch. I'm not sure about the numbers piece of it, but the numbers may or may not support my decision. But I like the Patriots as well.
Awesome. Now, just to reiterate, me, CJ, and my dad are all in the same pool. CJ runs our pool. Okay?
Yes, I
I'm-
want to tell you about that pool. My daughter is either 9, 10th, or 11. CJ is right there with her. I'm 151st. And I do 4 days of research. My wife thinks I'm absolutely nuts.
She always says, just follow Lily. Just
Yes,
follow
that
Lily.
she said, why don't
Listen
you
to
listen
Lily.
why don't you listen to your daughter? She said, you listen to the other. By the way, Lynn is a twin. She has another sister named Lila. It's really great. It's really great having the twins. Fellas, you cannot trust me, you cannot appreciate what goes on and what went on in their early lives, which now they deem to tell us at this point in our lives. And I say, no, we don't want to hear anything now. Please, no, do not tell us.
Oh, that's great.
Totally.
Well, if you
Yep.
want to follow more of Lily's picks, you can do that. You can email us for more of Lily's picks at thesmartgamble@gmail.com because why not? She's nailed every single one she's given out. That game might be the game of the week, like just in like the NFL.
Mm,
2 5-4 teams right in the thick of things. A lot
Absolutely.
of storylines, like all the. Yeah, that's going to be a big game in general. And picking the Patriots, I like it.
Yep. And what's my punishment if I miss it, Norm?
That there's going to be a bikini instead of a jet sweatshirt. So.
Thank you, Norm. I want to give my lock of the week? And
Absolutely.
I look for the dogs, the underdog teams during the week. We had a couple last week with Jacksonville and with Denver. My lock of the week, my dog of the week this week is the Washington Club. By the way,
ooh.
the Washington Club sounds like a country club out west. I
I
belong
think
to
it
the
was a
Washington
country
Club.
club.
Anyway, I'm going with Washington. Why? Tampa Bay, with the greatest quarterback that ever played in the game, Mr. Brady. He's 5-0 at home, but he's 1-2 on the road, and he plays terrible on the road. It's 9.5 points. Washington has got that little guy, Heineke. He looks
Yeah.
like an ant with sneakers running around the field. But all in all, I think they're going to rise up, and I think they're going to definitely. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting a call. Can you hold on? a minute?
Okay.
I think Washington, if their defense wakes up and gets off the bus, I think it will be an interesting game.
They've
All
got
right.
And that's
the-
my dog of the week.
They've got the one thing that's been proven that can beat Tom Brady, and it's a pass rush. And
Yes.
and they bring that in spades. So
Absolutely.
I think you're onto something there.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Although we do have to remember that he is number 1 in the NFL with passing yards. He's over 2,700 passing yards
He's
and
ridiculous.
25 touchdowns.
No
Uh,
Antonio Brown this week though as well. So that he's missing.
Mm.
They've got plenty of other guys to throw to, but there seems
Yes.
to be that connection between Brady and Brown, even between teams and whatnot. So that's a lot of points, and I think I might be with you on that one, Tom, to take all those points.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Well, final thoughts, guys. Week 10, we're in November. We're in double-digit weeks. It's kind of crazy, but we're here, and we've got more picks that we can give out at thesmartgamble@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to us, any feedback, of course, the movie question of the week answer, any fantasy advice, you know where to reach us. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify as well. We appreciate all the interaction and all that. And
Yep. We forgot to mention that you would win a $25 Dunkin' Donuts gift card if you
Right.
get the movie line right. And we
That-
keep forgetting to say the winners every week.
right.
Next week, we'll try to have the winners.
You know who you are, though.
That's because Lily's keeping the $25.
And then also, we are working on the website. It's going to be called thesmartgamble.com. So we'll let you know when that's up and running too.
Yep.
All right.
So this is the place where to find everything until then. And even
Well,
when
I want to thank you all for asking me on. It's been a lot of fun. You guys are terrific. I wish you well in the future.
We love you,
Yeah.
Dad.
we
And,
appreciate
and,
it.
and
Tom.
one quick note about Lily's dad. He's
Yes.
been playing in my pools for a couple of decades now, and I always refer to him as a guy who has the greatest radio voice I've ever heard. And I've done radio in the past. Lily's dad has that smooth, outstanding radio voice, and I'm now really, really glad to put the name and the face with that great voice. So thank you for coming on today. Great meeting you for the first time.
Well,
Yes, thank
The
you, Dad.
face is ugly. I don't know about the voice.
No,
The
no,
face is
no.
ugly.
The voice
So
is
great.
the voice is top notch. I might reach out for some production work. But
Yes.
Thank
a
you.
great voice.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much, guys.
Appreciate
It's been
it.
a lot of
Tom,
fun.
again. Thanks you for joining us. For CJ,
Yes.
for Lily, and for Tom, I'm Norm. We will talk to you next week in week 11 after, I'm sure, another win from Lily. And we'll talk to you
Yes.
then.
Take care.
Yes,
Thank you,
thanks for
guys.
joining us,
Be
everyone.
well. Be well.